Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Great to see you, Admiral Harris. I wanted to focus on cyber and information warfare and information operations. So first, I would be interested in an update as to our engagement with South Korea in regional confidence building measures and capacity regarding cyber capability to counter not only the North Korean threat, but also the threat from China.
I work with USFK, General Brooks, and his team, and with Admiral Rogers and his team for cyber capacity in Korea for their ability to counter the threat from North Korea. I think North Korea is a major cyber actor, and the work that we do both on the peninsula and off the peninsula, and that work is critical as we get after the threat from North Korea, as well as, China and Russia and all that. But North Korea is a major cyber actor.
And how do we work with our allies most effectively in terms of information sharing when it comes to countering North Korea's cyber activities?
So by sharing that information and sharing our operations, but we're limited in many cases by clearance issues with our allies and our partners and friends. So each one is different. Each level of access is different. And we have to have that view toward maximizing the training that we can do with each one.
And then shifting to information warfare, it's the same question. What specifically are we doing to counter Chinese and North Korean information warfare and propaganda efforts? How are we working with our allies in the Asia-Pacific? And who is the lead within the DoD on coordinating these efforts?
In information warfare, we work through with the Joint Staff, the J39 team, and the Joint Staff, and at OSD in order to have a unified view of information warfare. I think China is using its considerable resources and the platform that's China to challenge us in the information domain. And an earlier question about the Confucius Institutes and things like that across the United States and in other countries, you can see the impact of a strategic view of information warfare which China has. And I'm not convinced today that the United States has that unified strategic view of information warfare across our whole of government.
So what steps do we need to take within the DoD? Because I think if we, before we even tackle the whole of government approach, I think making sure that DoD is focused on this, not just in terms of countering Chinese propaganda and North Korea propaganda, but propaganda when it comes to violent extremist groups and terrorist organizations. What steps do we need to take to ensure that DoD is focused on this as they should be?
Well, one is the training internal to DoD, and one involves those authorities which Admiral Rogers needs, and then he can delegate some of those authorities to the combatant commanders. But without those authorities to do offensive cyber operations, I think we're limited.
Thank you. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.